This is David with Corel Trainer.
This is Cassie Green from Apparelist.
This is Gordon and Firemark from the Entertainment Law Update.
And you're listening to
Two Regular Guys podcast.
Hosted by Terry Combs RG, Regular Guy, and Aaron Montgomery.
The place to be for industry news.
the best dad jokes on earth, along with relevant topics to apparel decorators.
Prepare for the wild.
All right, welcome into the show. It is Friday, August, what is today? The 9th, 2024. I'm trying to resist the fall coming, so.
It's not August. It's not August.
What's that?
Sorry, yes, find Terry over at terrycombs.com. Yes, it is August. Wow. Time flies when you're having fun, Terry. That's what they say. So my name's Aaron Montgomery. I'm with our success group, and my mission is to inspire you to build a business that you love. Two Regular Guys is always part of that, being able to talk to amazing people, bring on guests, and just our industry is so cool. I mean, are we not blessed, Terry, to be part of something like this? T-shirt decorators, garment decorators, apparel decorators. It's a pretty fun industry that we're in.
I always tell my screen printing students that it's like Hotel California. You know, you check in anytime you like, but you can never leave. Or check out anytime you like.
That's right. That's right. So we are blessed to have two awesome guests joining us today that are integral in the apparel world. Our friend Cassie Green, who seems like she's just a regular part of the show, so she should probably
she was just in the intro.
Yeah, just in the intro, doing the news, but with Apparelist. And so Cassie's going to be joining us with another good friend of ours, Brandy, Neth, who's also with the Apparelist. And obviously some excitement around the Printing United Expo coming up. I think we're all really excited. Just all the things that they're doing on the apparel side. So we're going to finally, you've been hinting at it for the last several weeks, Terry, trying to be good about not letting the cat out of the bag, but I think we can.
I think the secret's going to be out today.
Yeah, I think the cat's coming out today. So you guys want to be tuned in live. In fact, you want to make sure that your friends are tuned in live and get them over here to participate and chat with us here. But we're going to be talking about the apparel highlights, certainly at the expo, but just kind of in general, the awesome part about them is not only are they so integrally involved with the expo, but just the industry in general. So they've got their finger on the pulse. And so we're going to be asking about industry trends. What should we be looking for, expo or otherwise, right? So I'm looking forward to this show. I know I say that every week, but I really do look forward to every show.
Me too. I've certainly been looking forward to this one. So, but make sure you stay till the very end to get your helping of the secret sauce. Aaron's taking a little different tack this week, and instead of a secret recipe, it's a battle plan to defeat the evil villain we all face, the Overwhelm Ogre. Look forward to hear that.
Yes, I've been having some fun with this, Terry, and it's kind of a secret sauce, but it's, you have to fight the battle too, so we need a battle plan.
Exactly. All right.
Well, Terry, we've got another awesome friend of the show joining us here, and we're going to talk some news and lots of stuff happening out there. So I'm excited to learn a little bit more, but we've got Adrian Palmer from dtfprinting.com here to share the news with us. Terry, are you ready for that?
I feel like all these guys being on the show at the same time, I feel like we're getting the band together again.
That's right. It's pretty awesome. All right, well, let's do it, Eric.
Hey everyone, happy Friday. Thanks for having me on. As I'm sure you have all heard, SNS Activewear has acquired, I'm getting a phone call, sorry about that. SNS Activewear has acquired Alpha Broder. The combined company plans to better meet the evolving needs of the apparel industry through greater investment in product and brand offerings, employees, and supply chain innovation. The transaction is expected to be completed later this year. Until then, SNS Activewear and Alpha Broder will continue to go to market under their respective brands and existing distribution channels. A multi-year integration process to maintain sales momentum will be led by the current company's CEOs. Customers can expect faster, more accurate order fulfillment and increased inventory across in-demand categories, while improved delivery and transportation logistics will support significant savings in carbon emissions. Next up, Stream, a platform developed by DecoFlow to connect customers with local and nationwide small businesses offering direct-to-film transfer services, has announced the launch of its public beta. Stream addresses the challenge of connecting customers with small businesses that are capable of producing high-quality transfers, ensuring faster fulfillment and supporting local economies. Customers can upload their designs, receive real-time feedback on resolution and quality, select the desired quantity, and place their orders. The platform prioritizes local shops, promoting community businesses, and ensuring those quick turnaround times. And if local shops aren't available, the orders move to the nationwide network. And for DTF printers, Stream provides a consistent flow of projects, filling schedule gaps with straightforward tasks, and they say no price haggling. So it's a little bit like a ride share. So the platform's rating system ensures high quality from both printers and customers. All orders are shipped within 24 hours, and same-day rush orders are available. And last, Bella Canvas, a wholesale apparel manufacturer, is now selling its premium blanks at Walmart. Walmart SKUs are dyed and cut in their Los Angeles manufacturing facility. Austin Blair, associate merchant at Walmart, says the blanks are perfect for screen printing, heat transfer, tie-dye, and more. The core colors of the popular 3001 and 3001 youth unisex t-shirts are available today in Walmart craft aisles nationwide, with extended silhouette, color, and size options live on walmart.com. So for more interesting news, you can always head to dtfprinting.com. Happy to be here. Thanks for having me. Hope you guys have a great show and a great weekend.
That phone call was Adrian's mom saying, "Adrian, I see you on the internet right now."
I got a phone call right at the very beginning too. Again, it comes up every time. Terry, you should be next. I mean, we've only been doing this for a while, and then I showed up late. So, but interesting. Yeah. I think we've all heard about the Alpha Broder SNS Activewear. So that's a big news for sure. I also
it was wildfire. Everybody I know reached out and said, "Hey, did you hear this?"
Yeah, for sure. So, big stuff there. But the other one, DecoFlow, that public beta, I don't know. I'm hopeful for them, right? We hear this quite a bit though. People trying to do this kind of bring everybody together and print, I don't know, community type thing. So we'll see. Another opportunity for people to try something different and be disruptive, and hopefully it works for them, because it doesn't seem like it's worked in other forms before yet. So maybe time is coming.
well, maybe that will be Adrian's news item for 6 months from now. We'll see.
The bankruptcy. All right, let's not put out there. My bad.
No negative vibes to the universe.
That's right. All right. So just thanks everybody for joining in. If you are joining us live right now, let us know where you're at and where you're tuning in from, and make sure you're here. And if you guys have questions for Brandy and Cassie, we want to get those from you too. Doug, I see your question from earlier. I would say stay tuned till the end, and I will share which classes I'm teaching. Is that too much of a teaser, or should I just?
I'm going to I should get my list together. I'm going to be speaking down in the Apparel Zone. And also doing some in booth events as well. So
awesome. Yeah, I definitely want to hear about that. So yeah, we'll get you that information, Doug. So don't think that we're ignoring you. I know Doug has always got great questions, and I feel like sometimes we don't always get to his questions. So I don't want him to feel like his questions are not valuable. So,
but I think Doug's here for one reason. I think Doug's here to hear your dad joke.
Oh, okay. Yep. If he is, then let's take care of that. Eric, whenever you're ready, let's do the dad joke here. Hey, Terry, I've got a question I've been pondering, and I think I've come up with the answer, but can one bird make a pun?
I don't know, Aaron.
Well, no, but two can.
For our podcast listeners, TOUCAN.
That's right, you heard that you can. That came out
All
of,
right.
I think that was the last. No, I've got one more from that book from when I was at my friend's house in North Carolina there. So
Then I'll be back up to bat, right?
yeah, that's right. That's right. That's right. I did find another one from
Or Lewis.
Exactly. We'll get it. But I guess Doug's not there for the joke, huh? Well, we got one in anyhow.
All right. Before we dive in, we'd like to thank everybody for checking out the Two Regular Guys podcast. We need your voices still. We would love to have the regulators participate in our show intros. Go to decorators.ink./intro. Read a few sentences and be a part of every show. We are always looking for new guests. So if you or anyone you know would like to join us, go to calendly.com/2 regular guys to book a future episode, or email us at info@2regularguys.com with your show ideas. If you are listening to the podcast version of the show, we would appreciate you sharing the Two Regular Guys podcast with all of your industry friends so they can become regulators too. We would appreciate you giving us a review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Amazon Podcasts, YouTube Podcast, wherever you do your podcast listening. We are there. And if you're watching live, please join in with your comments and your questions.
Indeed, we are looking forward to having a great conversation here. In fact, Terry, let's dive into this. I don't want to wait any longer. We got some really fun stuff to talk about here. So let's bring in Brandy and Cassie. And hello. Look at this. Do you guys call each other to make sure your shirts match?
Every day.
Every day. Okay, good.
Oh, yeah.
Good point. Yeah, valid. All right. Well, welcome in, you guys. Thank you so much for being here. Cassie, you're with us all the time, and so I would imagine people know you, but I want to learn a little bit more from both of you here. So actually, I'm going to start with you, Brandy. Tell us a little bit about your kind of journey through the industry and what your role is right now.
Oh my gosh, my journey through the industry.
Just a quick.
I'm like, we're going to be here a long time if that's the case. I have been in industry. I hate saying this because this really ages me, like more than 25 years. So that is craziness. Yeah. Terry, like you said, like you can check in, but you can't leave because I did sort of try a little bit because I was with another organization, and I have been with Printing United now for almost a year, and heading up I'm the brand director for Apparelist, our media brand serving the decorated apparel community. And that's, which everybody knows, because everybody knows Cassie. She's our rock star. She's the face of our brand. So I'm just super excited to be here and be her partner and still be in industry, which I guess I didn't really try that hard. So
yeah, I think that's it, right? We say we want to leave, but we don't really try that hard to leave. So no, because it's just, there's too many darn good people here. All right. Well, Cassie, what about you? Give us, again, I know people know you and we appreciate all of the support. In fact, we're going to have you back next week just for the heck of it. Right. But so give us something new that we don't know, Cassie. Come on.
Oh, something new. Something new is that my children are home today and I can hear them outside my door and I'm like, please don't come in.
All right, we get to meet them. That's fine.
But like Brandy, I was sort of outside the industry for a little bit. I was the editor for A&E magazine for a really long time. So more in like the awards, hard substrate side of things. And then again, found my way back to apparel. That's where I got my start. And so here we are. Joined Printing United in 2021 and actually launched Apparelist in January of 22. So we are a young brand, but we are really eager and excited to be part of the alliance and part of the expo. So yeah, that's, I guess, I don't know if that's new, but I tried.
That's good. No, give us a little more depth. I love it. That is good stuff there. Thank you, Cassie.
You know, Cassie, when you say that about your kids, when my daughter, her husband was a naval officer, and when he would go to sea, she and the kids would come and stay with me because he'd be at sea for 3 or 4 months, and she would come and stay with me. And when Aaron and I would do this show, my grandson Lincoln would lay on the floor outside my door and kick the door, Papa, Papa, for like the whole show. But,
it was pretty cute.
So Printing United, Las Vegas, it's upon us a month early, September 10th through 12th.
Yep.
Brandy, tell us about the build-up of the past couple of years of the Apparel Zone, and even though you've only been there for a year, but in the theater, you know, it's clear to everybody over the past few years that Printing United has made a real commitment to the apparel decorating community. So tell us about the buildup of that.
Oh my gosh. Well, we're so excited to get back to Vegas. I mean, it's a little different. As you said, we're there a year early or a month earlier, which is kind of a change for everybody. I think it came up on almost everybody in the industry. Like, oh my gosh, September. And you know, it's all of a sudden right here. We were in January, and now here we are, and we're just a few short weeks out from the event, and we're so excited and pumped to get there. Apparel Zone is going to be completely reimagined. I know we've said this a few times, and anybody who's been to the event in the past few years knows that, you know, Printing United has definitely looked to re-engage, I don't even know if that's the right word, with our apparel decoration community and really make a commitment to supporting the industry. And Apparel Zone is where that is going to be incredibly obvious. And we are just thrilled on how it has kind of evolved for this year. We're doing something completely different than we've done in the past year. Still an education zone, still an activation area, but with a little bit more, I don't know, what would you say? What was that word, Cassie? Excitement, with maybe a Vegas flair to it.
There you go. Flair is a great word. Flair is great.
Flair. There's going to be a lot of flair. And so you're not going to want to miss that. We have several different areas with screen printing, decorated, all decorated apparel, but
DTG,
DTF, sublimation, heat applied graphics, and of course, we alluded to our Apparelist live theater, which will have constant activity. And Cassie can definitely talk a little bit more on that. That's her brainchild.
All right. Well, let's hear about that, Cassie.
My brainchild. So anyone who's attended the past couple of years, we've had what we've called the Future State Theater, which is where we do live presentations, that education component that is hyper focused on apparel decoration. Of course, Printing United Expo has a lot of general education sessions that cater to all the segments of the printing industry. And then this year, the Apparelist Live Theater is, again, hyper focused on apparel decoration. However, a couple little changes. Biggest change being that the theater is actually built into the Apparel Zone this year. So that has been the biggest challenge the last couple of years, especially last year in Atlanta, was the Future State Theater was located kind of in a back corner. It wasn't part of the Apparel Zone. It's a little bit hard to find. So people were, there was a little bit of confusion. We get that. We understand that that was a huge challenge with Atlanta. Yeah. So this year, by moving the theater into the zone, we know that this can be an all-in-one experience where attendees don't really have to leave the zone to get the hands-on training as part of the Apparel Zone. And we can talk about the live sessions in a little bit. But they can also go to the theater to hear the classes. Those happen every hour on the hour. We have released the preliminary agenda. I haven't released the full one yet because, leading up, let's tease some little things out of it. But those classes kind of come in like a twofold presentation. We have a lot of business style classes. So for example, one of the presentations is all about building a sustainable workforce. Staffing continues to be an issue, getting qualified people in, or even, people who are willing to learn. And so there's going to be a class about that. But then on the flip side, there's also lots of technical education. So there's a dye sublimation presentation that's happening. Terry, you will be a speaker there as part of one of our classes, talking about new trends in technology and how decorators can implement that technology in their business. So tying the technology to the business side of it as part of those classes. So again, all in one inclusive area where decorators, can find everything.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. I think, when the convergence happened and Printing United happened, I think a lot of us in the apparel decorating industry were excited, but we were concerned, right? Like, oh, what's this going to do for us? And I think
Cautiously
for a little bit,
excited.
but I think for a little bit we were also like, I don't know. At least that's the feeling I had and I was seeing. But then when we saw them bringing, people like Cassie in, and now Brandy and Josh and some of the people that we know care about our industry, what we've seen over these years has been incredible. And what I've loved is you guys have always done such an amazing job of putting it out there, trying something new, listening to feedback, making tweaks, but just still, we know what the mission is. It feels like, at least from my vantage point, it feels like you guys have like a really clear mission, and you're just going after it and listening to what people need along the way. So I'm going to just throw that to Brandy real quick here, because I know, year, like, are you seeing that? Am I making this up or
You are not making it up. We do have a clear mission. We have spent a lot of time, and as you said, bringing in Josh and Sarah and Lee and Cassie and myself over to Printing United has really been to kind of connect with the community in a way that as Printing United has evolved and the alliance formed, that to show that we are very serious about taking our industry as a super important part to this convergence theory, because it is. Everybody is doing a little bit more, and that's been true for several years. And I think as industry is evolving, almost nobody is like, hey, I just do this one thing anymore. Business is crazy, and in order to survive out there, you have to have your hands in a little bit of everything. And that's something that the Alliance has really embraced. And that's one of the reasons that we're all here. And it's super exciting. It's super fun to be able to really have the ability to listen to the industry and pivot and do different things. That's, hey, this isn't working. This is what the industry needs. I mean, that was one of the reasons that Apparelist was actually created, that, hey, we needed a voice out in the industry that's not necessarily like we want to be your one-stop place for that trusted information. That's like, hey, we're not selling you anything. We're literally just here to support the industry. That's what our goal is. Yeah. And like I said, there was some consternation, maybe is the only word I can come up with, in that kind of little gap there, at least. And so seeing what you guys are doing, another name I wanted to make sure that we brought it up. I mentioned everybody except for Allie. So I wanted to bring up Allie too. And I'm sure there might be other people I'm missing, but Allie, I apologize, Allie, that I didn't get you in that list. All right. So I want to change course here a little bit. Let's get back to talking about the now. Again, Terry's been hinting at some double secret changes. I've tried to pry it out of him. We did the water torture thing. That didn't work. We've tried it all. But let's talk about that. Even I think Brandy was alluding to it a little bit before, but pretty cool theme. And what can we share? What can you share now? Can we just let the whole cat out of the bag here?
Yeah.
So, I mean, Cassie, go.
Let's let the cat out of the bag. I love it.
Okay.
Yes. So conceptually, we knew that this needed to be elevated, which is why we are bringing a theme this year. So because we're in Vegas, let's lean into Vegas. Yeah. Spirit fingers and yes. I love that. We're going to do a homage to 1950s Vegas we're designing the Apparel Zone to be like an actual, you're walking down the street in Las Vegas in the 1950s timeframe. They're going to have storefronts. All the storefronts are going to be themed, and the sponsors have been incredibly supportive of this. Each sponsor has had the opportunity to pick their own theme and design it. I'm sure, Terry, if you want to, allude to what you guys have planned, obviously feel free, but it's really leaning into the experience of learning. And that's really what we wanted to bring forth in the zone. Is not only will you get this cool, like, okay, I'm walking into an old comic book store where, previously in the 1950s, you'd walk in, you page through all the old comics. It's really cool. There's some like awesome big graphics on the wall, but we're the printers. So we're the ones printing all of these really cool things, right? So you can walk into it and actually watch things being printed. And then the sponsors and everybody will teach you how to print. And so that's also part of it too, is like, this zone is not just for apparel decorators, it's for all the attendees. So, as Brandy has talked about, as Aaron, you talked about, we're not just seeing people only doing apparel decorating. We're not just seeing people only doing packaging printing, right? They want to explore apparel decorating. So what better place to go and like immerse yourself in the actual technology, watch it printing live on the floor, also with the cool 50s Vegas theme. And oh, by the way, you can get your picture taken with a Cadillac from the 1950s.
60s.
60s, sorry.
It's a 60s Cadillac, but
we tried.
They were there in the 50s. It was super cool.
Right. This is details. But again, it's the experience, right? I mean, it's a very tactile industry. It's a very hands-on industry. We like to touch, we like to feel, we like to see and actually experience it. So that's what you're going to get in the zone. So it's very cool. It's going to be like a live city within the expo.
Yeah, for us, it's the Epson and Equipment Zone record store. And so we're pretty excited about it and have all the graphics done. I do have to say that our 32-year-old graphic designer at Equipment Zone, there was a lot of, nope, that was the 70s. No, that was the 80s.
Yeah, I think sometimes the word retro anymore for some of us may mean the 50s and 60s, and now it might mean the 90s.
One of my sons, he's a sales manager for a company, and he has a home office, and one of his sales reps said, "Man, I love that retro bass guitar you have on the wall behind you." And he goes, "I bought that 25 years ago, brand new." And the guy's like, "Well, that's what I mean."
Oh, brutal.
Yeah, stab right to the heart there.
So I know we're super excited about being there with Epson and Equipment Zone in our space. But who's this geared to? Is this for beginning decorators? Is this for longtime decorators?
Yeah, both.
Yes.
All.
Everybody?
Yes.
Well,
sure, there's going to be a lot of folks who've never even considered apparel decoration or adding any of this, who are on the floor. We're going to kind of be surprised how easy it can be to incorporate that segment into their business. So that was that is one place where we will, have a huge focus. So there will be a lot of entry level. However, as Cassie said, a lot of our classes and presentations going on in the theater are also going to be just in general business classes. How can you make your business? And that transcends across all of the industry. How to run a better business, how to focus on getting the right employees in there and retaining them. So this area isn't just for, hey, beginners. This isn't just for somebody who's not even in apparel decoration yet, but it is really for everybody at the event. We've tried to make sure that this area is going to have something to offer for everybody attending the show.
Okay, awesome. Do you guys want to yet talk about who's going to be in these education spaces or any of the speakers?
Sure. We're super excited. Stalls will be there. They've been supporting the Apparel Zone right from its inception. So they'll be there. Cassie had mentioned that's where the comic book store will be. So I think that we all know that they do an incredible job with themes and things like that. So that'll be exciting to see what they do. Hirsch is going to be joining us for the first time this year, focusing their expertise on embroidery and all other methods in apparel decoration. We will obviously have Equipment Zone there, who is going to be leading the charge with DTG. American Print and Supply will be there, really taking a deep dive into DTF. We'll have ISW, who will have so much in their booth with everybody there, with, looking at white toner and dye sublimation and everything that encompasses. And we will have M&R joining us as our screen printing faction there as well. So it's going to be fun.
Nice.
Cassie, do you want to mention any of the speakers in the theater area?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we've already talked about Terry, but Terry will be a speaker along with a couple other, people from Equipment Zone. Jay will be there. You guys are doing a really cool panel with some of the Epson folks. I believe Tim Check is going to be on that panel as well.
Correct.
Yep, along with some, and I can't emphasize this enough, along with some actual decorators. So you guys will also feature decorators on your panel, because I think it's really important to understand that this is a collaborative effort between the sponsors and industry peers, right? Because talking about all of the challenges that they face as decorators, and then working together with suppliers, manufacturers to address those, or even talk about what's great about the industry. So we have a few of those. Of course, we will have Apparelist represented. Myself and Allie Bruce will be doing a panel on the final day, again, with decorators, and that will be focused toward beginners. So that one, we actually are saying, hey, look, if you are new to apparel decoration, this is the panel for you. You definitely want to sit in on this one. One of the presentations that we just announced is Gary Jones, who is our Vice President of Environmental Health and Safety Affairs. He's all things OSHA and safety. For whatever reason, this is resonating in the industry right now. There's lots of printers, not just decorators, but there's lots of printers who are like, holy moly, OSHA's coming down on us really hard right now. People are getting hit with fines, violations, all the things. So Gary has graciously offered to speak, not only as part of the general sessions for the show, but in the Apparel Zone, about OSHA's safety and how decorators just need to prepare ahead of time. Don't wait for OSHA to hand out a violation. Like, prepare, be ready. Also protect your employees.
Anybody would like a preview, both Cassie and Gary will be here on Two Regular Guys next week.
Yes, we will. And Gary is so wonderful. He's a great speaker. He knows what he's talking about. So, he can answer all the things. And then, we could talk about this forever, but one more really cool speaker I want to talk about is Jed Seifert's been on your show lots of times. He's doing great work in the disability inclusion space. So he, along with a couple other people, some folks from Spectrum Designs, if you're unfamiliar with Spectrum Designs,
we've had those guys on the podcast too.
Yeah, there you go. So they're wonderful. I think it's something like 67% of their workforce are people on the autism spectrum. So they're also going to join talking about, what does it look like to build a disabilities inclusion program, what you need to do to implement that, because again, there's real ROI there, but you got to do it the right way, right? So those are just a couple of the speakers. We have a huge lineup. Like I said, we do have the preliminary agenda announced at apparelist.com. If you want to go, it's just shared on our homepage. You can just click right on it with more to be announced. So
awesome. Yeah, really cool stuff. And Jed and Patrick and Tim and a few other people, they're writing a book too, from what I've heard. So I don't know if I'm giving away something I'm not supposed to, but hey, this is what happens when people tell me stuff. It comes out.
Too, so
all right.
It must not be the biggest secret.
Yeah. Kind of like Dane and Lon, right? Dane's like, oh, I don't know if we can talk about that. And the next day we talked to Lon. He's like, yeah, I'll tell you all about it. All right. And speaking of Dane, he's been working hard on the stalls program over there. So he's such an amazing artist that it's going to be really cool. All right. Can we take a quick break here, you guys? I would let everybody sink in. We've got some regulars to talk to here in just 1 second, but I've got a program that I'm really excited about that I'd love to share with everybody real quick here. So Eric, whenever you're ready. The Fundamentals Live event is back and better than ever. Our last event was a huge success, and we're always striving to improve. This time, we've made it even more exclusive with only 10 seats available, and we've extended it to be even more valuable. Fundamentals Live is scheduled for October 10th through the 12th, 2024 in St. Louis, Missouri. Details can be found at osg.link/funlive. If you know it's time to transform your business from have to into get to, if you're ready to be more fulfilled and take back control of your business and life, this is the experience you need. October 10th through the 11th, you will put the fundamentals into action and walk away with a blueprint to manage a business that truly fulfills you. If you are feeling overwhelmed and undervalued, reach out to me and let's talk about what villains are holding you back. Don't wait to sign up for Fundamentals Live. October 10th through the 12th is a time you need to come together with other like-minded business owners. I have personally seen the clarity, confidence, and fulfillment this experience will bring you, and we want you to be a part of that. Don't let your hesitation stand between you and the success that you deserve. Reserve your seat today at osg.link/funlive. We'll see you in October. All right. Well, looking forward to seeing folks in October. So check that out. Again, osg.link/funlive. All right, you guys. So I want to talk to you guys about, I mentioned at the top of the show that you guys have your fingers on the pulse because of what you do, writing and creating. Brandy, you talked about how, you're not selling anybody anything. You're just keeping them informed. Right. And so I'm curious if you guys have seen any innovative techniques, technologies that might be gaining traction, some things we might be expecting to see at the expo, but just in general too. So, Brandy, can I start with you?
Sure. Yeah. I don't think it's any secret that the buzzword in industry right now is DTF. Sure. I mean, you can't, you literally can't do anything without hearing the words DTF. Yeah. So I think that when it comes to Expo, you're probably going to see a lot more folks really showing that kind of equipment, where their businesses are going with that, how to integrate into that. In general, that seems to be the number one buzz. However, I don't think that what a lot of doom and gloom gets sent out there about the world of screen printing is disappearing yet. I think I'm old enough in industry to remember when DTG came out and it was the same thing. They're like, that's it. It's the end of screen printing. There's nothing more. This is it. This is it. There's nothing more is going to happen. We're done with this. And here we are still doing DTG and screen printing and embroidery and transfers and everything under the sun. Yep. So I think that it's fun to have a new kid in school right now, which is what I feel like DTF is. It's exciting and new, but that's going to be a lot at Expo. Make no mistake. There's a lot of new equipment coming out around that process. But some of the tried and true, there's also a lot of really fun advances coming up with in all parts of the industry. I know I've seen some really, really neat things in just in the heat transfer world that are coming out, that are going to be out there, that are pretty interesting as well. That's not in that category. So Cassie, anything that you might want to add there to that?
I mean, there's so much. We have to talk about embroidery because I feel like everybody writes embroidery
Eric
off.
Perked up, by the way. Eric just perked up.
Sorry. Eric's writing an article for me right now.
There you go.
There it is. But it's what I love about embroidery, and this is so cool because I was talking to a group of industry peers who are just like, yo, we need to talk about embroidery more because it's like a big deal for so many reasons that we talk about all the time. The perceived value, it's just so beautiful when you have like this amazing embroidered hat, but also like seeing that mesh, speaking of Hirsch and like all the cool things that they're doing, the direct to embroidery stuff that they're doing, mind blowing to see like the embroidery come out and then it get printed. So you're seeing a lot of how are we using technology together to elevate the stuff. So we're seeing a lot of that. And then I'm hearing whisperings about some new DTG stuff coming down the pike. That's all I can say. Sorry. I'm just gonna
Cassie, it's okay.
You're among friends here, right?
That's right.
Cassie, I'm glad that you brought that up. I just had a conversation about embroidery as sort of the dark horse too, because it's you know, I think how did I say it? It was like somebody was talking about equipment and things like that. I'm like, you know, it's such an old technology that's so perfect. You know, when you create something like right from the start and it's great to begin with. I mean, how do you make it greater, right?
Yeah.
And there obviously are advances, but we were having this whole discussion, and I'm like, it's absolutely relevant when we put on our apparel decoration summit yearly, and we're in Nashville. We had this conversation about embroidery as well, because almost everybody, DTF, DTG, screen printing, but everyone's like, yeah, I need embroidery. Can we talk about embroidery? Can we do a little more embroidery? And sometimes that's a little bit surprising, because I feel like it's like the quiet, awesome guy in the corner that everyone's like, yeah, you have the attention, you'll come to me eventually. Which is what happens, you know?
It's the pommel horse guy from the Olympics.
There you go. Eric, you're the pommel horse guy from the Olympics. Yes. I like it.
Like the rock star comes in and just like takes it home, gets the medal, and everybody loves you.
Yeah, that's right. Well,
that's awesome.
And this to me also is a really good sign, because I think that was another area where prior to the Apparelist transition here, I went to many SGIA shows and didn't see any embroidery for several years, right? So I love that this is a focus. Ramona says, you're right, we're so old school that they think we're in the past. Jan says embroidery is a big deal. It's been very good to me. Eric says, we all know you printers would recognize us someday, right? Obviously tongue in cheek there, I hope. But anyway.
Just along those lines too, I mean, this is, I think we have more apparel companies and serving the industry at Printing United this year than literally ever. It's going to be the biggest segment. So it's definitely, I think I saw in the chat, somebody was like, I'm just trying to decide if I'm going to come.
Yes, there's going to be a lot of new stuff there. I'm hearing from lots of folks that it's going to be exciting. But, one of your speakers, Matt Rome, I used to ask him what his wife did. What's your wife's business again? Just to hear him say embroidery. But Brandy, when you said that about screen printing, when Aaron and I were at US Screen Printing Institute, and I was teaching the screen printing classes there 20 years ago, Scott would introduce himself, hold up the How to Print T-shirts book. Then he would add, screen printing will be gone in 2 to 3 years, to all these people who had signed up for the class. Before he would get out of the room, I'd say, that is not true at all. And he would laugh and walk away. And like 10 years later, he came up to me and he apologized. He said, you were right all along. This is just going to be another tool in the toolbox. But
exactly.
He was sure of it. He was sure of it. And all these people had flown in from all over the country to learn to screen print. And let me add, my screen printing classes are all sold out, every class. I was just in Chicago last weekend. They're always sold out, new people coming into the industry all the time. But so let's talk a little bit about, you guys talk to people in the industry all the time. What are some of the challenges that apparel decorators are facing today? Any thoughts on that?
Go ahead, Brandy. I was going to say, go, Brandy.
No, go ahead, Cassie. It's all you. I mean, I think that everybody has it, but yeah, go on.
Yeah, I mean, I think particularly this year, what we've heard the most is just a little bit of economic uncertainty, inflation, pricing, right? We all talk about it. We've talked about it quite a bit, but that continues to be a pain point. And I just think it's going to continue to be a pain point for now. And so that's kind of like a big pain point. However, I will tack onto that we just did our big state of the industry research report. There's a lot of optimism. So while it might be a challenge right now, and there might be some uncertainty in terms of, oh my gosh, am I going to get hit with this massive, price increase? Am I going to be able to get my supplies? Obviously, we're talking about, the big Bangladesh things that are going on right now that are affecting inventory and things like that. There's always going to be that unrest, and it is particularly strong this year. However, printers in general and even decorators are pretty optimistic going into the Q3, Q4 of 2024, but also looking ahead into 25 and beyond. People are pretty optimistic that there's going to be some bigger rebounds and there's going to be some relief coming down the pike, whatever that looks like. So I think as everybody holds their breath, they're doing so with an air of positivity.
Yeah. I'm just going to kind of echo that, Cassie. I've heard a lot of, Q1 was rough for almost all printers. And things kind of started to pick up a little bit, and things are on an uptick, but I think everybody is optimistically cautious about where the year is going to end up at. But moving into Q1 of 2025, people seem extremely optimistic that that's where we're going to get a huge bounce back. So not just our local economies, but our international economies as well. So I think that I think there's a lot to kind of look forward to. But when it comes to challenges in general, I saw somebody say on the chat, it looks like Michael, about staffing. Yeah, staffing continues to be an issue over and over. And getting the right talent in and retaining the right talent. I think that Aaron talks a lot about that as well. Sometimes that it's, it can be tough right now, but it is looking up. At least I think so, from what I hear.
I've certainly seen that in equipment sales. We've certainly seen all the lease guys, everybody are calling me up, hey, is everything slow for you guys too? But certainly seeing an uptick right now. And, also, when COVID hit, everybody kind of sat on their hands, and just now, just talking about some of the folks that are going to be at the show and doing things at the show that I can't talk about yet, but it's like people are starting to innovate again. And so there was like no innovation other than DTF for several years now, and I'm seeing lots of things happening, and I'm certainly not talking to everybody, but some of the folks I am talking to, and I'm not talking about Equipment Zone, I'm talking about other companies, and there's going to be some exciting things there.
Yeah, you guys keep doing that to me. Come on, you can't say, oh, I can't talk about it, right? All right. No, and I agree too, where what you're saying, and I love that there's that optimism, because all these challenges, right? The reality is those are just opportunities to grow and to do something differently, right? And the HR, staffing challenges, we just have to look at staffing differently than we have in the past. And I think that's what those challenges are telling us. Hey, we gotta think differently about this. And so it's an opportunity. And then if you bring that same optimism that Cassie talked about with you on that journey, I think you're going to find solutions. But if you're kind of going, woe is me, it's probably won't find solutions from that place. So I love that you guys are seeing the optimism too. Okay, go ahead, Cassie.
Oh no, I was just going to say one of the things, Aaron, I know you're pretty heavily involved in is the Skills USA and like the younger generation, which there's been a lot of kind of discussion, let's just say, of like the young people don't want to be in the industry anymore and all this stuff. But we're seeing a lot of that. So again, there's that optimism. And how do you look at challenges differently? How do you approach this from a different angle. I mean, you go to things like Skills USA and see the younger generation teach the younger generation. You go to people like Jed Seifert, you incorporate a disabilities inclusion program. You look to, you know, there's companies like Curbside Apparel in Oklahoma who's working with people experiencing homelessness. You get people who are hiring those who are formerly incarcerated. Look at it differently. And that's what I think we're seeing, a lot of innovation in that aspect, in terms of like, printers are being forced to be more innovative in how they approach their entire business, not just technology.
Yeah, no, 100%.
You know, Jed, at last year at your Nashville event, there was a panel about this, and Jed Jed was on the end of the panel. He goes, "There are lots of people to hire out there. I have no trouble at all getting employees." Yeah.
Well, and the other thing, Eric had mentioned this earlier in the comments when he was talking about kind of being the only embroidery guy at the print conferences a lot of times back in the day. But he added at the end of this, and I think this is really key, he said, we also need to join the community, right? And so you talked about Skills USA, Cassie, right? If you're having trouble with bringing in new talent and stuff like that, then what, like you said, what are you doing about it, right? Are you supporting Skills USA? Are you, because it's not just that national thing that I'm involved with. They've got the state levels. There's the schools in your community that could use your support, right? Just open up your shop to let those graphics arts teachers bring people in. And guess what? In about, I don't know, 3, 4, 5 years, you've got employees that remember, oh my God, that was so cool to go into that shop. I'm going to apply there. I see they got an open job, right? Like, there is a solution, like Cassie was saying. We just got to be willing as an industry to look for it. And that's what I love about an event like Printing United. The scope of what you guys are doing too also allows for such creativity, because we get to see so many different things at once. Sorry, that's my soapbox for today. All right. Well, okay, we got a few more things we want to cover with you guys before we get to the end of our show here. And you guys talked to us a little bit about some technology that we might be kind of on the lookout for. But again, I know you guys are super tapped in because of all the conversations and what you guys are doing through Apparelist. What other kinds of things should we be looking for? The trends on the horizon, right? I guess in a way, I'm kind of asking you guys to break out a crystal ball for us a little bit. But yes, exactly. Brandy, would you be willing to start us off with that?
I think getting back to this kind of all ties in again with running a streamlined business, and I think a lot of this is, you know, with advances in technology and with some of these staffing issues and things like that, folks are really looking at how to do more with less people and faster and better. So a lot of automation on the floor, and how like some equipment that hasn't been that way before and how that's changed, and what you're going to see. I think a lot of that is going to be a huge focus across the entire expo, not just our segment, but of all printers. Automation continues to be one of the biggest kind of changes in moving, and you know, the scary thing of AI into our businesses, and you know how that works, and a little bit more just on equipment in general, what that's going to look like. And I think it's going to be even though it's only been, gosh, it hasn't even been a year since Atlanta, but some of the equipment on the floor is going to blow your mind on how much it's changed in 1 year when it comes down to things. I'm not going to mention a big thing that's going to be on the floor, but it's going to be pretty crazy.
Yeah, Aaron, you have to go and see.
That's the third time, you guys. Come on.
I can't.
Well, you know, and that's
but it is a launch, and it's a big deal.
All right.
Well, that's one of the reasons that DTF has become so popular, because one person can run that machine and produce lots of product. So, and I've sold machines to people who specifically said they are buying it because of the limited workforce they have.
Right.
So,
yeah.
Well,
all right, Cassie, what about you?
Oh, sorry.
Can I just say, for the record, I ask this question every time I interview people, and to have it turned around on me is a little interesting. Now I understand why people laugh every time I ask it. It's interesting, and I'm going to use this sort of saying, if you will, from Rich Santo at Culture Studio. Said this to me when I asked him the crystal ball question. He's like, we aren't necessarily looking into the crystal ball so much as we are looking at what's happening now and focusing on how that will shape our future. So, which I thought was really interesting. And Brandy, you said it so well. It really comes down to what we're seeing now, and that's automation, AI, lean manufacturing, that whole thing, right? Is how can we do more with less, and not necessarily less, but just how can we be more efficient? So that I can't stress that point enough, is that's what we're seeing now. And that is what will shape the future. Like, we know that everybody's becoming more efficient. We know that this equipment is more automated. We know that AI can be used for so much more than just graphic design. Lots of people are using it for marketing campaigns and to build code for their websites. So now they may not necessarily need to go so heavily into building code for websites. They're using it to do just these crazy business analytics so that they know where they're having inefficiencies on the production floor. So now that they can go and fix that. So it's what are you doing with the tools now to ensure that you will survive a global pandemic? You will survive an economic crash. You will do fine in the future. And we're going to see that at Expo this year very heavily.
Nice. Okay.
Interesting.
All right.
Yeah. Well,
Terry, I do have to interrupt you. We've got a comment that I wanted to bring in here. American Print and Supply says they're still waiting for our hall pass for Luna the dog on the zone floor. So I don't know who that's for, but I do have to then throw back to American Print and Supply and tell them I am still waiting for my all over printed sublimation shirt. So just
all right, they made it live on the show, and you never got it, huh?
For two regular guys. Now I want one for our success group. We're still working it out. We're still working it out. I even offered to pay for it. So anyhow, all right.
You guys,
sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but I saw that and I felt like that was going to be fun.
Well, there's lots of people out there sharing, teaching, trying to influence in our space, in our industry. What message isn't being talked about enough? And you guys had mentioned embroidery, but what isn't being talked about out there that we should be talking about? Cassie?
Ooh, that's good. Yes, the embroidery thing is a big one, and I'm really glad we already talked about it. I maybe just will say what's not being talked about enough is just the business side. We all keep focusing on technology, and there's this huge emphasis on like, what's the new printer I'm going to see, and what's the new like software I'm going to see, and blah, 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 blah. But we continue to put an emphasis on this at Apparelist, because at the end of the day, the new technology isn't going to save you if you don't know how to do it right, if you don't know how to run it right and implement it into your business. And we say it, but we have to actually go out and do the things. We have to actually, as decorators, you have to go out and do these. So please pay attention to not only the new technology, but listen to the manufacturers, the suppliers, on why it makes sense or maybe doesn't make sense for you. Please pay attention to the business trends. You see the headlines come across, actually read the article, because there's important nuggets of information. Don't just brush past as like, oh yeah, everybody's doing heavyweight streetwear. Great. Why? So having that deeper knowledge and understanding on how it applies to you is so crucial.
Awesome.
Love it.
Brandy, do you have any thoughts on that?
Just to kind of elaborate, like you said, that Cassie, the why are you all of a sudden bringing, why do you need to bring this into your business? Why is that important? Like, hey, so I just stocked a bunch of oversized tees. Why am I doing that again? Why do I need a bunch of oversized tees? How do I print on that oversized tee to make those graphics big enough and things like that? Why is that trend happening? And so the more information that you know, and when you see trends like this, you can really apply that to your business better. And that's not something that equipment is going to solve your problem unless you know why you need that equipment to solve that problem. So it all starts back with education and just taking in as much as you can. Things like being here and listening to us and going to the industry events out there and attending any kind of conference and summit and across the board. There's so many. There's just a plethora of information out there for you as a business owner to really propel yourself into the next level.
Yeah. And
Aaron, when
if you're willing to absorb it.
Yeah. Aaron, back when we were at US Screen, I don't know if you recall this, but we would do these classes on DTG, and there was a DTG at every desk, and everybody was excited to print a shirt. And I'd start talking about the business and marketing part, and they'd all lay their pens down. And I thought, this isn't a magic machine. I know it looks really cool, but it doesn't sell the product for you. It doesn't hire employees for you. I just thought it was the oddest thing, because in my screen printing classes, I mean, people couldn't take enough notes on how to sell the product, but for some reason, DTG, it just looked like magic, and I don't need to know anything else. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah. Well, and I think it's really important what Brandy just said there too, that why question. I kind of joke with the partners I get to work with at our success group, right? We were probably better equipped as kids to be business owners than we are as adults, right? Kids, Cassie, you were just talking about your kids. How many times a day do you hear, why, mom? Why? Right? And it's like the why question, like, but the reality is that's how we need to act as business owners, as people in this industry. Just because Terry said it, okay, that's awesome, but why, Terry? Right? Just because Brandy said it, and I think that's so crucial, right? You've got all this opportunity, you've got all this access to wonderful information, but I think we need to just, instead of just consuming it all the time, we need to engage in it with why questions, with, okay, that's awesome, but how can I make that work for my business, right? And getting into those deeper conversations, and again, having everybody together under one big roof, but it's still under one roof, is an opportunity to have those conversations too. So I'm really looking forward to that part of it myself. So, all right. Well, we're kind of into bonus time, so we appreciate you guys staying a little extra with us here. But we've done the podcast, the two regular guys, and we've seen you guys kind of have some different locations, right? So, Cassie, where are we going to be broadcasting from this year?
Live? Well, not live. Sorry. We're going to be broadcasting. What? Sorry, go ahead.
Live.
Will be live.
If you're there in person, it will be live. Absolutely.
Right. No, in person, yay, at the Apparelist Live podcast booth. That is also in the Apparel Zone. Go figure. So you can find Aaron and Terry there. Yay. Yep. As well as Apparelist podcast will be there. Lots of other podcasts. Last Call for Plastisol is coming back and going to do some stuff from there. I mean, but that's where you got to go. Apparel Zone, powered by Apparelist Live podcast booth is there.
All right. Is it going to be fishbowl like? Do I need to bring a sign again? Are we going to have a fishbowl again, maybe?
We're going to do kind of an old school radio station vibe.
Oh, I love it.
Whoever remember it, like when it could be like plastered with stuff. So bring your signs if you would like to. Yes, there's going to be like a cool fishbowl feel with like some cool graphics. Aaron, I'm going to do it to you one more time. I'm not going to tell you what the graphics will look like that we're having printed up. Yes, let's keep a tally. It's going to be really cool. So you can actually go sit and listen to Aaron and Terry in person.
Awesome.
All right. Well, okay. Brandy, where do our listeners need to go to sign up? Like you said, there was the comment earlier from Doug trying to decide if he should go. I think we've made that abundantly clear. So where should he be going?
You can go to printing.org, and that's going to get you there, right? I think we have a link pretty much everywhere. You can visit Apparelist. That's going to get you to there. I think anybody, if anybody wants to reach out to me, it's just bjneth@napco.com. I'm happy to send you passes and a link to registration. So come on. I see somebody said that they're sad they didn't put it in their travel budget this year. Vegas is very affordable. You want to come.
You can go to the casino and probably go home with more money than you.
It's far less affordable if you go there.
Awesome. Anywhere else that Cassie, that people need to be kind of connecting with you guys and just keep their finger on the pulse with you guys?
Yeah, I mean, Brandy already said it, apparelist.com. Make sure you subscribe to our newsletter, right? Because that's where you're going to get a constant feed of information, not just on the expo, but everything we've talked about today, the finger on the pulse, all that good stuff. So subscribe to the newsletter. You can follow us on Instagram. It's just Apparelist with the little underscore. And then, of course, on like Facebook, LinkedIn, we just have Apparelist name. If you just type it into the search, you'll find it. Make sure you join the community, because as we've talked about so much, this is a community. So we really emphasize that we are all having the conversations together, leaning on each other, having the discussions, and those social platforms are often where those discussions are had.
Awesome.
Fantastic.
Love it.
Well, this has been awesome. Thanks so much for coming on, you guys.
Yeah,
Thanks
definitely.
for having us.
Brandy, we will see you in Vegas. Cassie, we will see you next week. And you're pulling double duty next week. You know that, right?
I do know that. I saw it on my calendar, but I decided that I was like, we're going to deal with that next week.
Okay. All right. I just didn't, I've been a little remiss in getting people up to date. So I figured we'd let you hear.
Let's do it.
All right. Awesome. Thank you, you guys. Good job. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you.
That was awesome, Terry. Yeah.
So you feel a little out of the loop. I'm a little in the loop because of the fact that we're in the apparel zone. So
yeah, you guys are. I'm going to be there, so I'm going to learn. But it's still right. You know, I feel like people shouldn't keep secrets from me, but that's okay. I can live with
our
it.
graphic for the front of our store is so cool. Like I tell you,
Awesome.
So I can't wait to see the whole area. It's just such a clever idea, I think, on the part of Apparelist.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's. Terry, where are you going to be? You mentioned your screen print classes are selling out. I know you've got some coming up here. Give us the rundown of Terry's big book of travel here.
Absolutely. My complete screen printing business course. The next class at Workhorse Products here in Phoenix is August 24th and 25th. Couple of seats left if you want to come to that class. My next class in Chicago with Atlas Screen Supply will be October 12th and 13th. August 15th at 1:00 Eastern, Jay Bassell and I are doing a free Graphics Pro webinar called DTG and DTF Printing, Making Informed Decisions. And I'll be at the Equipment Zone booth at Printing United in Las Vegas, again, September 10th through 12th. Aaron, you and I are going to be recording live the first day of the show, and I'm going to be doing several sessions through that time at the Epson and Equipment Zone space. Nice. And I'll be talking DTG and DTF printing at Impressions Expo in Fort Worth, October 24th through 26th. So watch for my upcoming events at terrycombs.com. How about you, Aaron?
Love it. Well, upcoming for me, September 5th, I'm hosting a masterclass with a mentor of mine, Dale, and we're gearing this towards business owners of any type. Obviously, the business owners we're talking to here, but just if you're somebody that would like to make more profit with fewer sales, and I'm not really sure if you're a business owner that would be a negative response for you, but here's the deal. There is a way that you can make more profit with fewer sales. You just have to be able to specifically answer some questions about what it is that you do, who your ideal customers are, what those ideal customers value, and ultimately then aligning on the right price that matches up with all of those things. So your value in dollars and cents. And my mentor, Dale, and I have a really good process here that we believe that in only 4 hours, we're going to keep the class small to only 6 people. We can give you the answers to those questions. We can help guide you to the answers to those questions. And you're going to be ready to attract more ideal customers, set the right pricing, and just enjoy more profitable relationships with less work. I mean, I know it sounds too good to be true, but we've seen it in action. So if you want to sign up for that, you can go over to osg.link/profit. Again, we're limiting the class size to only 6 participants so that we can make sure that we do what we say we're going to do, give you that guidance and support to have the answers to that and go out there and be able to make more profit with fewer sales. So osg.link/profit, September 5th, coming up pretty quick here, you guys. So get signed up for that. As far as Printing United goes, I will be out there in a couple of different roles. I get to participate as the MC of the media day, and I'm really looking forward to that. In fact, I was just doing some searching on Amazon for a 1950s Vegas high roller costume. So who knows? In costume.
I love
it. But beyond that, I also get to be a speaker there. And as Cassie and Brandy were talking about, right, covering some of the business side of it a little bit differently. So I'm going to be, one of my presentations is Targeted Success, Finding Your Ideal Customers. And that's happening on September 10th from 2 to 2:45 local time there in Vegas. And then my next class on the next day is AI Marketing Mastery, Leveraging ChatGPT for Business Growth. And again, that'll be on September 11th, the day second to last day of the show, and that's happening from 1 p.m. to 1:45 local time there. You guys heard the advertisement, so just a reminder, it is back. Fundamentals Live. It's scheduled for October 10th through the 12th here in St. Louis. Details are at osg.link/funlive. I know you know this, but a reminder for folks, it's time. You deserve this, that your business needs to go from waking up every day going, oh, I have to do this. Oh, I have to do that, to, ooh, I get to do that. I get to share my gifts. I get to connect with people that I want to work with. I get to have a business that I love. And that's the whole point of the book here is that. And so what we do is we take the ideas in the book, we break them down, and it's not just here's the information, good luck. It's here's the information. Let's do an experience. Let's build this. And we can do that in 2.5 days by doing it the way we're doing it in person here. So give yourself that gift. Come join us. I have personally seen from the folks that came in June. In fact, we've been meeting every week since, and I'm just blown away where they're at. They've got a massive amount of clarity. They've got a much greater amount of confidence in what it is that they're doing. They're fulfilled every day. And so I'd hate for you to miss out on this again and have to wait longer to build a business that you love. osg.link/funlive. This time we are limiting it to 10 people because I learned that we really need that intimate experience to get the depth that we need to get to. And I think that's it for me. Would you like to share what Eric's got coming up here?
Yeah, this afternoon it is the Take Up, episode 198, Learning with Self-Directed Projects and Beyond. How can you get more directed, refined experience that tests the specific tools, materials, and techniques you want to learn? Self-directed projects. Let's talk about structuring self-directed projects for maximum benefit and how to grow beyond with projects directed by others that don't have to be put in the position of disappointing a paying customer. Check out ericcampbell.com and the Take Up link at the top for more.
Awesome. Look, check that out. Always a great show over there for Eric at ericcampbell.com. All right, Terry, the secret sauce, it's been cooked to perfection. I've got it stirred up nicely. Are you ready to take on this battle plan?
I'm ready. Let's hear your secret sauce.
All right. Aaron Montgomery here. Today I'm going to be giving you a secret recipe of a different kind. It's more of a battle plan, as I mentioned. It's all about overcoming a major villain we all face at some point. And that villain is the overwhelm ogre. I think he's going to be right over here. Yes, there he is. That villain, right? This ogre is a master of chaos. He's determined to bury you under a mountain of tasks, leaving you feeling stressed, overcommitted, perpetually behind. If that resonates with anybody, raise your hand virtually here. But the overwhelm ogre loves to keep you juggling too many tasks at once, making it nearly impossible to prioritize. He thrives in your indecision, your disorganized systems, just kind of leaving us feeling scattered and unfocused. And then we try to tackle more at once. That's when he becomes stronger, right? He feeds off your struggles and your stress. But I'm here to tell you the good news. There is a way to defeat the overwhelm ogre and regain control of your time and energy. And that's the secret sauce I want to share. I want to leave you guys here with my top 3 strategies to put the overwhelm ogre in his place. Let's beat this guy down, right? Okay. All right. Step number 1, prioritize ruthlessly. Yes, that's a lot, right? Oh, wow. Ruthlessly. That's a big word. The first weapon in your arsenal is ruthless prioritization. Take a moment and just assess all of the tasks that you have on your plates, right? Get it all on paper. Ask yourself which of these are truly important and which are kind of important, but probably more of a distraction, right? Focus on the tasks that will move you closer to your number 1 goal and let go of the ones that don't. Make the most important thing the most important thing. One more time, make the most important thing the most important thing. The problem that a lot of us have had, and the problem that I had for a long time until I learned this, is we're not clear on what that most important thing is, right? The effort you need to put in and to get there is you need to clarify with detail and certainty what that most important thing is. What will allow you to reach some point in the future and look back and say, yeah, I'm proud of that. I'm proud of that most important thing being something that I've worked on, right? I'm proud of the success that I've had. Do you have very clear goals, very specific goals? And you also need to question, is that goal aligned with your reason for starting your business? Do you even know what your reason is, right? So prioritizing ruthlessly, but we can't do that until we understand what the priority is. So that's step number one. Step number two, we need to break tasks down into manageable chunks and then set boundaries. So the overwhelm ogre loves to see you frozen by sheer size of your to-do list, right? So we combat this by breaking down your tasks into much more smaller, manageable chunks, just taking little pieces off of that and then breaking those things down into what you need to accomplish each day. When you tackle one small task at a time, you can kind of chip away at the ogre's power. And suddenly the mountain of tasks doesn't seem so insurmountable. When you mark those smaller tasks off your list, you start to build momentum and you become more proud of what you've accomplished. And that momentum is going to grow and you're going to be moving faster and moving faster. But it's when we stop, right? This is when we lose the momentum. So we need to keep that momentum up. And we do that by just little small chunks at a time. Now, also small part of that smaller chunks is you need to be aware of what you're committing to. Sometimes we get overwhelmed just because we commit, we say yes without even thinking about it, right? I'm guilty of that. So we need to learn to set some boundaries. You need to learn to say no when necessary, right? No is not a reflection on you or the person you're saying no to. It's not part of your priorities boundaries right now. So you need to set clear boundaries for your time. And by protecting your time and energy, you prevent the ogre from spreading you too thin. Step number 3, create organized systems. Disorganization is one of the ogre's greatest allies. And if you want to weaken his grip, you need to create an organized system that works for you. That's the key, right? It has to work for you. Some people's systems can look a little bit more like organized chaos, or maybe just chaos to the outside world. But as long as your system works for you, and your system at the end of the day must allow you to keep the number one thing, right? Does that stay at the top of the list? So that could look like a digital task manager, a simple to-do list, a calendar, having clear, organized plans. What will keep you focused and on task, right? This badge of honor that I've got 10,000 unread emails is not keeping you on task, right? This having a bazillion tabs open is not keeping you on task. Yes, you might have a lot going on and you can juggle that, but you need to make sure that you've got a system, right? So there we go. There's my 3 quick tips for you. The overwhelm ogre. Yes, I know he's a formidable foe, but when you incorporate these strategies, you can defeat him over time. You're going to reclaim your focus and gain that peace of mind back. The key is to prioritize, organize, and really make sure you know what your number one priority is. So that's my secret sauce for today. Let's banish that overwhelm ogre once and for all. Now, the overwhelm ogre is not the only villain that's out there, but he's probably one of the stronger ones. There are 4 other major villains that you might face that your nemesis might be a little bit different. So if you'd like to find out who your nemesis is, go to oursuccessgroup.com/quiz, and you'll find out who your number one nemesis is. You'll get some free tips. Just remember, you have the power to conquer any villain that comes your way. Just got to take the steps to get there, and we got this. High five. There's my secret sauce for today.
I love it. I think there are a lot more people that need that than probably would like to admit.
Yeah. And I've had a lot of playing with the villains, and you got the ogre, and there's the perfectionist pirate that's also a major villain. So it's been a lot of fun kind of digging into that, and not only been helpful for myself, but I'm already getting feedback from folks where they can now relate to this a little bit more and be able to put some of this stuff into action. So it's pretty cool.
Fantastic.
the ogre clearly ate your polo, Aaron. I love that. Yeah, clearly that ogre understood. I was playing. I promise it was just a joke. I love you guys. All right. Terry, what a great show today. We want to thank Cassie and Brandy for the great information. Can't wait to see them in person here in about a month. Excited about the expo, but just excited about the industry as a whole. I know, like they talked about challenges are out there for sure. But if we continue to keep that optimism, we can have no limits. So it's pretty amazing where we're heading as an industry, Terry.
Absolutely. Hey, we want to thank our show producer, Eric Campbell, for all that he does and fighting today the temptation to jump in the show when we were talking about embroidery.
Yeah, impressive.
I've got one thing I have to say.
Well, you want to hear what he has to say, go join him on the Take Up later today, and I'm sure you can ask him about that. Love it. And yeah, Eric, thank you so much, man. You don't know how much we appreciate you and everything that you do for this show and just for us. Love calling you a friend, man. All right, Terry, next week's show, as we mentioned, we're going to have Cassie back again, but we're going to have Gary Jones along with her this time. As they mentioned, right, talking about OSHA. It sounds like there's definitely a lot happening in that world right now. Last time we had Cassie and Gary on, we also talked sustainability. So I think we're going to try to cover the gamut, obviously give you a preview of what Gary's going to be talking about there at Printing United, but it's always a great time talking to Gary and having Cassie along with. She's always been such a great flag bearer for sustainability, but I know just industry as a whole. So looking forward to next week, as I say every week, but again, I really do.
Absolutely. Until then, I'm Terry Combs. He's Aaron Montgomery.
And that was the Two Regular Guys.
Here we go. We're out. Awesome.
Thank you for listening to Two Regular Guys. Check out our website at tworegularguys.com. That's the number 2, regularguys.com. You can also interact with us over at our Facebook page, facebook.com/tworegularguys, or send us a tweet, twitter.com/tworegularguys. And we have a YouTube page. You can find all that from our website, tworegularguys.com. Thanks for tuning in, and we look forward to spending some time with you again next week.